We're all created equal by God, except for Satan. And I can only assume that's why when President Donald Trump gave his Fire and the Fury speech to the UN and listed all the evil regimes in the world, he never mentioned Myanmar, a country where people were being murdered at that very time, including children, including baby boys and little toddlers being thrown into fires to burn alive. Ralph Morris from Junee died 10 weeks after he was burned by his boss, his employer, at the Monte Cristo homestead. Ralph, wicked Jake, is Satan, ascended heaven. 5 + 5 = 10. Have faith, Josh, 10. 9:45. 10 = 39. Angel, 39. 3 9s are 27. Jake = 27. Jake. 10 + 1 + 11 + 5 = 27. And that's the age my best friend will be turning on Friday, 9th of March, 2018. All created equal before God, except for people of colour who get treated differently. My partner was barred from Australia for the most ridiculous reasons by Immigration and Border Protection, who are headed up in Australia by Peter Dutton, sometimes referred to as Australia's little Trump. Nathan Breeze from Kinglake West in Victoria died aged 13. 5 + 8 is 13. 1 + 7 + 5 is 13. Today is Saturday, the 13th of January 2018, and we are 55 days away from my best friend's birthday, Friday, 9th of March, 2018. Well, I've told you who Ralph is. Talked about Satan. Talked about Jake and Nathan. So who is Riley?
Community Task Force to tackle youth crime.
Working together, we will achieve a greater picture.
Mudslides devastate Southern California.
They destroyed homes and sent families scrambling to rooftops.
Sounds like a hurricane or a freight train coming through. Ecuador has granted citizenship to WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange.
An important victory.
Peter Dutton stepped up his attack on Daniel Andrews.
If he can't rectify the problem, he needs to consider his own position.
The president setting off the firestorm using an expletive during talks about immigration. A whole host of innovations unveiled at this year's CES.
What can I do for you?
For unrivaled live coverage in 2018, this is Sky News, Australia's news channel.
President Trump denies using racially charged language to describe African nations after condemnation from the UN.
An historic military deal on the table with Japan as the Prime Minister prepares for talks in Tokyo.
65 years on, the Queen reflects on her coronation in a rare interview.
In sport, Alex de Minaur continues his dream run at the Sydney International, booking a place in tonight's final.
And the Melbourne Stars record their first win of the Big Bash season thanks to Glenn Maxwell and Kevin Peterson.
And in weather, another hot day for New South Wales, but a cool and thundering change is on the way. For the details, Channel 603, Sky News Weather.
Live, this is Saturday Edition with Greg Thompson and James Steele.
It is our final hour here on Saturday Edition. Great to have your company. 9 o'clock in Canberra, 6 a.m. in Perth. Hello again to you, Janie.
Hello, Greg Thompson, and good morning to you all. Let's have a look at our top story. US President Donald Trump has vehemently denied claims he used vulgar and racially charged language when talking about poorer nations.
The alleged comments came in a conversation about immigration, with United Nations slamming the remarks as racist.
Irony will not be lost on many. President Trump today at a White House ceremony to honour the African-American civil rights leader, Martin Luther King.
Today we celebrate Dr. King for standing up for the self-evident truth Americans hold so dear, that no matter what the color of our skin or the place of our birth, we are all created equal by God.
It comes on the very day the president faces worldwide outrage for describing African countries and Haiti as shitholes in a meeting on immigration with congressmen.
Apology for the statement yesterday.
The shouted questions were awkward on this day to this president.
Mr. President, are you a racist?
Mr. Trump strenuously denies he said any such thing. He tweeted, "The language used by me at the Dhaka meeting was tough, but this wasn't the language used." And then this, never said anything derogatory about Haitians, other than Haiti is obviously a very poor and troubled country. Never said take them out. Made up by Dems. I have a wonderful relationship with Haitians. Probably should record future meetings. Unfortunately, no trust. And unfortunately for Mr. Trump, a Democrat senator who attended the meeting said the president did speak in those terms.
In the course of his comments, said things which were hate-filled, vile, and racist. He used those words advisedly. I understand how powerful they are. But I cannot believe that in the history of the White House, in that Oval Office, any president has ever spoken the words that I personally heard our president speak yesterday.
The White House is facing worldwide condemnation.
These are shocking and shameful comments from the President of the United States. I'm sorry, but there's no other word one can use but racist. You cannot dismiss entire countries and continents as shitholes.
It is also the 8th anniversary of the disastrous earthquake in Haiti, and leading Haitians in America are furious.
He's basically saying that all he wants is the blue eyes. He doesn't want people from Africa, from Salvador, from the Americas.
The president's comments will no doubt resonate with Mr. Trump's base support of the disaffected working class, but they will also upset many millions more. Mark Austin, Sky News, in Washington.
And the president has abruptly cancelled a trip to the United Kingdom to open the new American embassy.
Mr. Trump took to Twitter to explain the decision, saying he won't support a bad deal.
Looking forward to welcoming the president when he comes over here. I think he'll be very impressed with this building.
Today, a life-size wax model of President Trump looked skeptical at best, and the real President Trump was not impressed. Tweeting this morning, "The reason I canceled my trip to London is that I'm not a big fan of the Obama administration having sold perhaps the best located and finest embassy in London for peanuts, only to build a new one in an off location for $1.2 billion. Bad deal." According to the State Department, most of that's not true. It is the most expensive U.S. embassy building ever built, costing $1 billion, but it was actually a choice made by the Bush administration. And that old embassy wasn't sold for peanuts. The State Department says the new building was entirely funded by the sale of U.S. government properties in London.
This isn't just a new office building. It signifies a new era of friendship between our two countries.
Last month, we got a glimpse inside this shiny so-called sugar cube.
The British people will know.
Shiny sugar cube or American shithole? I'm not so sure anymore.
U.S. Ambassador Woody Johnson told us that special relationship is about to get even stronger. In London, major protests were expected during the visit, and Mayor Sadiq Khan said it appears Trump finally got the message from many Londoners. But the Prime Minister's office tells ABC News nothing has changed. The invitation still stands.
Japan is in negotiations.
Just shows the hypocrisy in politics, doesn't it? No matter how despicable someone behaves, if they're powerful enough, they still have an open invitation to go wherever they want in the Western world, the great democratic West, as we call it. I'm far from convinced that that is true. I found out yesterday that Australia's government has failed to react in any way to the murder of Rohingya Muslims by the Myanmar military. Not only has Australia failed to condemn the murder of thousands of Rohingya Muslims in Myanmar, it has continued with business as usual with the Myanmar military, continuing to work with the military, train the military. I find this kind of disturbing. Truly disturbing. I was just saying about this boy Ralph, who died over 100 years ago, after suffering 10 weeks of incredible agony and, you know, suffering beyond most people's imagination. Well, Ralph was working class. He was an Irish Catholic. Working class boy from a working class family, 9 years old, and he was burned in his straw bed. He slept in the stables. This was at the Monte Cristo homestead in Junee in central New South Wales. It's interesting because Ralph died exactly 99 days before what would have been his 10th birthday. Who is Riley? Maybe Riley is a message from Ralph, from Nathan, from Jacob, and maybe from another 9-year-old child who lost their life at the hands of a monster, and that would be Ebony Simpson, who I have talked about in my other videos. I find it really disturbing, the fact that so many people support someone as openly and blatantly prejudiced and bigoted as Donald Trump. Never mind Australia's own version of Trump, which is Peter Dutton, and it was his department that banned my best friend from the country for reasons that, well, they didn't even give a reason. They didn't even say if he was banned or not. They wouldn't even give me a clear answer on anything. And that's how these people operate. These racists who claim not to be racist. These homophobes who claim not to be homophobic. The way they operate is that when you apply for a partner visa, they leave you hanging. They leave you hanging for months.
The president's.
You know who should consider their own position? You should consider your own position, Peter Dutton, because you're a disgrace to Australia. You are a threat to freedom. You are a bigger threat to freedom than the terrorists you claim to be protecting us from.